بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم ألهمنا مراشد أمورنا وأعذنا من شرور أنفسنا. When a person is on a road but he doesn't know where he's going, in every turn that he makes, he never understands that if it's the right turn because he doesn't know where he's going. Many of us, when we entered the world, we were never told where we were. We weren't told why we are. We weren't told where we're going to end up. So we just grew up like a lost chicken. And we were told, go and look for your food. So one person became a doctor, one person became a pilot, one person became a lawyer. And because we saw the entire world around us on television, then we understood our life is this. That there are good days and there are bad days. But I have to work to become the boss, the master. I have to fly around over the rest. So a girl grew up in an environment that for her, life is marriage. So from young she was thinking about who's the perfect Romeo. And she thought about what will my marriage be, how will my nikah be, who will I get married to, what will I wear. And her entire maqsad of life was that nikah. Long before the nikah preparation started, cards came because that was her life. And the picture was taken, pictures were taken. Then she got married. Then she was asked, now what? So now it's to make a family. So then she started one child, two children, three, sometimes no child. So the woman is in parashani, the mother-in-law is in parashani, everyone is worried, no child. Because they have nothing in life besides the small thing. They get married. The girl who's not getting married, she's depressed. Why? That was her life. There was nothing else for her. For the girl who got married, there was nothing else. Get children. Now when the children came, what was next? Get grandchildren. So now you wait, my only hope in life is my daughter will get married. So the day the daughter gets married, the same old cards they could have sent out, they made new cards. Because there was nothing to do in life. So you make a smart card, you say, join us for this joyous occasion. You will choose the hall, choose the masjid, choose the cameras, choose everything. Because there was nothing else. When the boy grew up in the world, he was asked, what you want to do in the world? He also never understood what the world was for. So a lost chicken will look at all other chickens. How the group runs, I run. How the people behave, I behave. If I grow up with lions, I'll be a lion. If I grow up with lambs and sheep, I'll be a lamb and sheep. You will see on the day of Qurbani, if the sheep run, the farmer will say, don't chase them. You chase them, you won't catch them. All you do is just walk in a nice direction and let one sheep run into the enclosure. The one sheep who got the least brains, he runs to get caught. All the other sheep run with him also, they all get caught. Nothing has to be done because the world was trained, do as you are shown. So the only thing we saw was television. We could have seen Quran, but we never learned Quran, we never understood Quran. So we saw television. In television it's become a hero. What a hero meant is I pull my shirt out, I'll become Superman. So the young boy was standing on the sofa and he jumped also. He thought he'll fly, he broke his leg. Why? Because his mind was that this is the world. There's nothing else in the world. So he also became a doctor. That was his. I became a doctor. After I became a doctor, now what? Build a house. So he built a house. You ask him, what's your ambition in life? Is it to make a family? So he got his family. At the ending 65 years of his desires is stuck on what he saw on television. He has never been taught that there is something beyond. Had there been a television which would have shown you the akhirat, perhaps you would have thought of other things. But whatever is not in the mind, you can't think of. Quran came to take us out of a lie. But the man who never allowed Quran to become his guide, he went around like how sheep went around. Hazrat Molana Abdul Hamid Sahib Damat Barakatuh many a time will mention, one farmer went out hunting and he shot the lioness. So the cub, they were found there playing. So a few cubs ran, he must have killed one. One cub he took home. A cub is like a child, innocent. So when he brought the cub, it's a lion in the end of the day. But the lion who has not taught you a lion will never know it's a lion. So being a farmer, he put his cub with sheep and goats. That's what happened to me and you also. When the Islamic Khilafat fell, every lion forgot he's a lion. On that day, we all became sheep and goats. As it grew up with the sheep and goats, it understood my honor is not in being me, it's in being somebody else. That's what me and you thought. Always I felt shy in school that I don't have a girlfriend, all my friends got a girlfriend. So even if I never have the courage, I took up the courage. I asked her, what's your number? Give me your number. Because if I don't have a number, they laugh. When I understood my honor was not in me but in everyone else, I had to be everyone else. So the poor lion started behaving like the goat and sheep. But there is something called, in naql there is never honor. In being you, there is a lot of honor. You don't have to be somebody else. When you get married, you will tell your wife that, you know how my mother makes scones, no one can make. So the thing will trouble the wife. She'll go through all the recipe books to make scones, just to beat your mother. No matter how much she tries, you'll always tell her it's good but not like my mother. She'll be told after that, don't try and imitate his mother, you make something else. What you good at, do that. Don't try and do what somebody else is doing. In naql there is never izzat, there is never honor. There is zillat, there is disgrace. While I was in Pakistan, one man came to me. He heard me from South Africa, he was thrilled that you speak English. So in Pakistan, in India, there's a big thing, learn English. Every street you go past, you'll see English school, English school. So he came to me. He said, how's my English? And he started talking just to get, how's my English? But no matter how good his English will be, it will never be English. Because what's not you is not you. So they opened up one school in India, learn English. And the British would make Dora, they would send inspectors. Every Indian, every Pakistani must learn English. Now to see how much English, what is not you is not you. So they landed up, the inspector had to take the exam. So he wrote on the board, Nature, nature. He told one young boy, what's this word? So the boy, it's not his. So Na he learned it's na, Tu is tu, Re is ra. So he said natura. The inspector wasn't very happy. No one laughed because everyone thought it's natura. But the inspector wasn't angry with the child, he was angry with the teacher. So he looked at the teacher and he said, is this what you teach? So the teacher was scared, so she started shivering. She said, overlook them, they're still not matura. No, it's not hers, it's not his. So angry, he ended up at the principal. He told the principal, what is happening? The principal said, we're in for a very dark fatura. This natura fatura will make the whole world laugh, but we also to be laughed at. Because what was not ours, we also learned it on television. So my honor in the ending became, be a lawyer, be a doctor, be Superman and Batman. Never a time came in my life to say I want to be a flag bearer of Islam. I want to be a da'i for the whole world. My nazar is not one country or one town. My maqsad in life is not to make one patient better or two patients better. I got a vision that the entire world must get a da'wat of Islam. Because, oh my friend, before you die, if I can only tell you, you're living in a dream that when it ends, it's a very bad waking up. That maqsad in life, because it was never put on my screen, from day one I never looked at it. But had it been in the screen, in the era of Sahaba radiallahu, it was a young child whose every day he was shooting an arrow, who was learning to give adhan, who was learning to read Quran. When they would ask him what your intention is, he said there's a land called Africa. Muhammad al-Fatih, the conqueror of the land of Constantinople, at the age of 21 he becomes the Khalif, the Sultan of the Muslim world. He stands with his ustad at a young age. When he was a small boy, his father put him in the hands of a sheikh. He was a little bit proud because his father was the Sultan. So every ustad is going to the ustad, is telling him, you're not learning. So he's saying, you know who my father is? So the Ustad will just leave him. So he couldn't learn, so they complained to the Sultan. Sultan said, my son Muhammad will never learn. There was one alim who was illiterate. He was so bold and so strong and so scary that later on when Sultan Muhammad al-Fatih would become the Khalif of the Muslim world, and in front of him people would tremble. But when this scholar would walk in, Muhammad al-Fatih would tremble. Even when he became the Sultan. So when he landed up by his Ustad, and he never know his work, and the Ustad said, you never learned. He said, you know who my father is? He gave him one shot. Then he asked, who's your father? He said, it's quiet. Forgot his father and grandfather also. He learned. Then he says, his other Ustad then would take him to the edge of the waters. And he would point to him. And he would say, you see in that direction there's a land called Constantinople. He said, that land has come in the ahadith 600 years ago. Where Allah's Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, definitely one day you will conquer that land. And then the Ustad would look at him and say, oh Muhammad, something in my heart says that you are that boy. You could have checked. He said, when Sultan Muhammad became Sultan, the people around him said in every gathering, if the word Constantinople was not mentioned, he was not happy. He never wanted to hear of the world. One maqsad he had. And there is a narration of Allah's Nabi where he mentioned an army and he said, فَنِعْمَ الْجَيْشُ ذَلِكَ الْجَيْشُ. What a wonderful army it will be, what a wonderful Amir. He said, I want to be that Amir. 600 years later, I want to be the man who was on the tongue of Rasulullah. His own maqsad was that. When something was in front, in the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he described things that will happen till Qiyamah. If till Qiyamah is mine, your time also. Me and you can also come on the tongue of Rasulullah. Where he described times will come where it will be so difficult to hold on to Islam. He said at that time Allah will make nations stand up. Whoever tries to oppose them will not harm them. They will stay straight. Where the winds of fitna will be blowing everyone. There will be one army, he said, even if people pull away their help, it will not harm them. Even if the world turns against them, it will not harm them. He said Islam began as a stranger to the world. A time will come when it will be strange. He said, فَتُوبَى لِلْغُرَبَىٰ, O strangers, Mubarak to you, you are on the tongue of Islam. We found the era of being strange. In the era of being strange, it must be my vision in life. I want to be the stranger. I want to be the stranger. That wherever I walk in the world, people's heads turn. My wife is in burqa, I am in kurta. I give adhan on the side of the road and fall in sajda. A group gathers around me, they say, what is this? I say, I have brought to you the religion of Islam. You know about it. I will go into alleys, I will go into jungles, I will climb mountains. Why? Because I have been made an ambassador to carry a flag. But the young child who has that ambition in life, Allah will make it happen one day. He who thought he saw his father becoming a doctor, he is a doctor today. Because when he was small, he was running around with a stethoscope in the house. My brother Imran, his daughter, when she runs around, I ask her, who are you? She says, I am Siddiqa, I am Faqiha, I am Muhaddisa. I don't think she knows what it means also. Siddiqa, I am the truthful. Faqiha, I am the jurist of Islam. Muhaddisa, I am the scholar of Hadith. If a child can, at the beginning of his life, talk big talk, Allah makes him very big. Sultan Muhammad looked at Constantinople, Allah gave him the whole Constantinople. We got the whole alam in front of us today. My desire, your desire is, oh Allah, we want to be the strangers of the Arab. We want to shock the world. So a time will come where there will be coal. Holding on to Islam will be like holding on to burning coal. But my Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salam fell in the fire and the fire became a garden. The man who holds on to burning coal, Allah makes it his hand does not burn. Because he's the Ibrahim of the era. So the whole world will look at him and say, how do you do it? And he will say, if you want to, I'll give you the coal also, you want to try? As it doesn't burn me, I promise you it won't burn you. But you have to put it in your hand. It won't burn. It's a very scary world to say, I want to be unique in the world. Strange. To be sheep is easy. Because everyone is a sheep and a goat. Everyone is jumping. Everyone is blaring. Everyone is eating. Everyone got a girlfriend. Everyone got a boyfriend. Everyone is Superman. Everyone is Batman. Everyone is doctor. Everyone is lawyer. Everyone is accountant. You ask a child, who you want to be? His answer must be, I want to be a hero of Islam. Whatever I am, I want to be the beloved of Allah. From young, if a boy says, I want to be the beloved of Allah. If a father makes an intention, the mother of Nabi Isa alayhi salam was Maryam radiallahu anha. Her mother, when she fell pregnant, she said, oh Allah, whatever is in this womb, she thought it's a boy. She said, oh Allah, what's in this womb, I make it work for your deen. That this child in the womb must shock the entire world. But she really thought she'd give birth to a boy. Allah Ta'ala speaks about it. When she gave birth, it was a girl. She said, oh Allah, I thought it's a boy, I handed it over to you. How is a girl going to shock the entire world? Allah Ta'ala says, وَلَيْسَ الذَّكَرُ كَالْأُنْثَى. Which had two meanings. One is, the normal law is, yes, a girl can't do what a boy did. But that girl who was handed over to Allah will do what millions of boys could not do. No boy in the world could match Maryam radiallahu anha. That child who says, oh Allah, I'm ready. The whole world will perhaps tell him, what can you do? You are a young boy. That boy will shock the entire world. But if you want to be a goat, you will remain a goat. So as the lion grew up, it had to blend in with the rest. But the color of the lion was the color of the lion. A lion blends it with its environment, not in the farm. Mine and your environment was an environment out of the environment we live in. My environment was the environment of the masjid, because of which I needed sandals. So every time I walked in, I just make wuzu, leave my sandals outside and just come in the masjid. So old my sandals will be, even if the thief lands up there, he'll look at it and say, I won't steal the shoes. But I changed my environment, so I wore the shoe of that man. I wore the vest of that man. I wore the underpants of that man. I made my body so tight, which Islam had made me so light. Islam had told me, wear clothing that's light. Your kurta must be light, your shoes must be light. In the Western world, when a woman returns home, the first thing she'll do, she'll take out her shoes. First thing she'll do, she'll pull out the socks, she'll throw it one side, expensive, 1,000 rand shoe. Then she'll put her legs in water. Then she'll say, where's my slippers? Islam taught you from the beginning of the day you can wear slippers. You don't need that top shoe. Islam taught you be so light in your body. Because we wanted to be like sheep and goats, we looked at there on the internet, on the movies. We saw their jacket which was tight. We saw their sunglasses which was dark. We saw their hairstyle which was wild. Everything of them was unique. But unique means, if a man looked at it, he'll wonder what happened to you. There was a time in the past when we were small, cartoons. If someone saw a ghost, his hair would go up spiked. Today, without the ghost, the man comes with his hair spiked. In the past, they were telling you saw a ghost. Today, he's happy about it. He says, saw my hair. But that hair can't get a top, It spoiled my hair. The environment changed. My life changed. I wanted to be a goat, a sheep. One alim once came. He said, you people of this land, of Western lands, I am amazed at the place in your body, he was speaking to the private part, it requires the most oxygen anywhere else. He said, but I heard you people wear underpants so tight. He said that if a pigeon was put in that cage, it would suffocate. So private part, how it survives? In Islam it was cool, calm. At least so much do when you're going to sleep at night, put on a lungi. So at least at night, the bottom of your body gets air. Because so many of the diseases of the time have been found because oxygen is not allowed to reach the body. Fungus on the feet comes because I'm wearing a shoe, a boot, I'm wearing a sock. The body parts which are used the most in the day is the hands and the feet. The hands were told, give it oxygen by washing it continuously. As you wash the hands, the germs that are coming, once and every time you wash it, it's going. The private part was taught, give it oxygen also. It needs ease. There must be airflow, there must be water. Islam would teach us istinja. The Western world would teach us polish. So a Muslim boy will go to the toilet. He will take water and remove the dirt. A Western boy will go to the toilet. He'll take tissue paper and polish in the dirt. As that dirt would get polished, because tissue paper don't take, it polishes back in. You take a little polish, you put it on your shoe and you rub. A time will come when the polish will disappear, but it never go out, it went in. As that person polished, he polished his behind, he polished his behind, he polished his behind, he never used water. Then the Western boy will be told at the end of the day, go and relax in the bathtub. So he put his bubble bath, he made his bubbles. But as he lied down in the bubble bath, the first thing that happened is the polish also mixed with the water. As he lied down, some went in the ear, perhaps some went in the mouth. It went in his body. We say we thank Allah to the heights of thankness that He gave us a deen of Islam. But we cannot become a goat and a sheep. So the lion thought, I don't blend in, because the environment wasn't his. He was made brown. A lion, when he moves in the jungle, you will not pick him up. He can be right there, you're looking, where's the lion, where's the lion? Someone says, he can't you see. He looks unique but for his environment. As for the goat or sheep in the environment of the lion, it will be picked up immediately. There's a white thing. We saw the wrong environment, so we changed our color. So the poor lion thought the only way I'm going to blend in with the rest is I have to change my color. I'm brown, I want to become white. In the world this is there. From the beginning of time, the progeny of Nabi Nuh alayhi salam were three. It was going to divide into three groups. One was Sam, one was Ham, one was Yafith. Each one would take a different shade, a different color, a different land. The progeny of Yafith, which comes in the ahadith, ended up in what was called the people of Rome. The people of Rome divided into what was called, what we started, Russia, Germany, going this way into Europe, going this way into Mongolia, China. They took a certain color, but among them white was the unique color. It was their color. There was nothing else grand about them except being white. And others were slightly darker, and others were more darker. According to the lands you went. The wording of the narration is in the progeny of Yafith, Allah did not put any goodness. That is why ulama have written in the progeny of Yafith, you will not find mention of a single Nabi that ever came amongst them. The Anbiya alayhi salam were from the people of Sam, from the progeny of Sam, and after that Ibrahim alayhi salam. The people of Ham, many of them became the Indians of the world, became the black people of the world. Mention is made in the narration, Sudan, the darker colored people. But amazing, the white man of that era already. In the Bible, they changed the text. And they changed the text to this extent that in the Bible you will see today that they will create a lie that Nabi Nuh alayhi salam was sleeping naked in his tent. Never happened, but how they made the lie to put it in the minds of the people, we are supreme nation. They said Nuh alayhi salam was sleeping naked in his tent. And then Ham, the father of the black, the father of many of the Indians, He came in the tent, he saw his father naked. So he went out and he started laughing. Things like this would never happen, but the story at that time already, the white man. There is nothing wrong with being white, it's a color. But to feel that white is great and any color is not great besides white, it was a lie of the beginning of times, which carried on throughout history. We saw it in the name of apartheid, racism, white supremacy, whether in America, whether in South Africa, whether in the world. Whether it was Hitler's Nazism, the white man, whether it was the Aryan nation of India, the white man, that they are the caste, but the white Hindu is the unique Hindu. He said when Nuh alayhi salam woke up, he saw that his son Yafith, the father of the white, had covered his father. So he was so happy with Yafith, he said, may God make harm your slave. May God make harm your slave, and may God blacken his face. From the beginning of time, they tried to say the black man has been made as the slave for the white man. It was never a thing. Now when the lion forgot that my color, brown, is a unique color. As white is unique, brown is also unique, because the painter of brown is the painter of white. Allah is the painter of both colors. Colors come from Allah. So the poor lion said, the only way I'll blend in is if I become white. So the lion would take whitening agents. When South Africa came out of apartheid, it became the black country. So the black man is supposed to be proud and tell the white man, now you become black. But the opposite happens. In every black store you will enter, they will see whitening agents. You will see the black woman putting on some cream that I can become whiter. Why? Because you became disgraced with your own color. You tried to become somebody else, you won't become white, you won't remain black. So one man walked past one person who was dark, not a black man, a person who was dark. And he found he had ice, and he was rubbing himself with ice. So I asked him, what you up to? He said, this is like snow, I'm trying to make myself white. He said, my friend, the ice might become black, but you won't become white. You will be how you are. If I am Indian, I must be happy to be Indian. I don't have to become European. And if I am Muslim, I must be happy to be Muslim. I don't have to become Christian. If I play cricket well, then play cricket as Muhammad. You don't have to become a non-Muslim name to bowl your friend out. If you kick the ball and someone says to you a name which is a kafir's name, you're supposed to turn around and say, may Allah save me. I do not want to be that man. I am unique in me. I don't need his number on my back. His name brings the curse of Allah. I want to wear his shirt. My name, Muhammad, brings the mercy of Allah. He needs to be me. I don't need to be him. I can kick a ball being myself. I don't need him. But when the lion forgot my uniqueness is being a lion, he said, I want to be a goat. So he tried to make himself white. No matter how he tried, the goat always laughed. The world will laugh at me and you as long as we try to be the world. Then the lion had to jump. The jump and the leap of the lion is a unique leap. When it will jump, it will take down a buffalo. But when the lion tried to jump like the goat, it would land on his nose. Everyone would laugh at the lion. You can't jump. Had he been told jump how a lion jumps, he would have jumped the world. The honor of a believer is not to go up to a girl and say, give me your number. The honor of a believer is when a girl walks past, you look down. That person who controlled his eye, he pulled the love of the woman of the world. He pulled their respect, number one. That they understood when I walk in front of this man, he's not taking away my body. Every one of them was ready that if he wants to marry, I'll be ready, because he's a man who is sincere to his spouse. He's a man who will never drink. He's a man who cannot disobey Allah. When I'm not his wife, he will not disobey Allah when I'm his wife also. Every other marriage she enters, she knows that if my husband comes drunk tonight, he will slap me because he doesn't fear Allah. But that boy who's a Muslim boy, she says, I trust him. But when we became a Christian, when we became a Jew, then even the girl we married in the ending, she will write and she will say, there is one problem in my marriage, that I can't trust my husband, because before I married him, he was messaging me. How do I know after marrying me, he is not messaging somebody else? That woman will never trust her husband, although she'll meet husband and wife. A believer is not the John and the Tom of the world. He is different. He walks in a different manner. He talks in a different manner. Where the world walks with a bounce. When we were in school, we learned the bounce. Everyone wanted to bounce and walk bounce. When I entered madrasa, I saw a verse of Quran where Allah Tabarak Ta'ala said, but the way you are walking, it seems when you step on the ground, you want to like crack the ground. And then you jump up like you want to reach the mountain. He said, you won't reach the mountain, you won't crack the ground. He said, amazing, the bounce was a walk of the shayateen. They taught it to the world. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala said, what kind of walk this is? Walk normal. Your walk will be different, your talk will be different. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala said, do not bray like a donkey. Bray like a donkey is when someone makes you angry, you say, you know who I am? And he say, hold me back, no one's holding you, but say, hold me. Say, I'll show your father, your granny. Do not bray like a donkey. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala said, your talk is وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ. When an ignorant person talks to you, you say, salam. Somebody else will say, you are coward, he swore your mother. I must swear his mother, what his mother did to me, he did everything to me. Even if they swear your mother, you will say, he's an ignorant man, my Allah told me, just turn and walk. The man who turns and walks will take the izzat of the world. Even if his one, two friends say, you're a coward, why don't fight back? But because we learned their walk, their talk, we forgot ours. So the lion jumped and he landed on his nose. The lion tried to become white, he remained brown. Then the lion tried to bray, bleh, like a cow, sheep, goat. He tried the bleat, he tried the bleh. Whatever he tried, they laughed. Because me and you, which comes in Quran, Allah Tabarak says, the Yahud and the Nasara will never become happy with you until you become them, not like them. So I can make my hair like them, I can make my clothes like them, I'm still not them. Then magic ball will come, I'll have to go for the ball. I'll have to take a hand and say, let's have a dance. I'll have to drink that alcohol. Then only I'm like, but still they will not be happy. I will have to go to the church also. I will have to have the wedding in front of the priest also. As long as I don't leave Iman, Allah Ta'ala says, وَلَن تَرْضَى عَنْكَ الْيَهُودُ وَلَن نَصَارَى. They will never accept you as this. Just like how the goat and the sheep, no matter how much the lion tried, you are not ours. Then a day came when the lion walked in the jungles and he was feeling now, I lost. I tried it all, I took drugs, I never found happiness. I had girls night after night, I never found happiness. I sent messages and messages, I'm still in a lost world. I did it all, I slept with all, I talked to all, I ate all, I drank all. Still I am not finding what I want to find. Then he writes, he says, Molana, I'm lost. I feel like committing suicide. You followed a goat, you landed up nowhere. The place of the goat was the Qurbani Gah. Once a year he'll be cut. There's no goat there. Because I wanted to be the goat, I never found the life of the goat, I never found my life. So walking in the jungle one day said, a lioness pitched up. Soon as the lioness came, the lion heard, if a lioness comes, run. So he started running. The lioness said, wow, what a lion this is. She started chasing, as she's chasing, he's running faster. She's screaming out to him, stop, stop. He said, no way. Me and you also. When an alim comes and knocks at your door, he said, Daddy, I don't want to see him. He's going to take me to the madrasa. I want to go to school. He'll make my tashkil for Jamaat. I want to become a doctor. He say, let's go out for 1 year in the path of Allah. I say, I want to go for honeymoon. He will tell me how to change my life. I don't want to change my life. One man gave a unique example. He said, Islam. So the man was in his car. And as he stopped on the side of the road, someone was hiking. So he asked him, you need a lift? He said, I need a lift. He said, my car hasn't got place. You can say, my family, we're going for a ride. The man said, my name is Dollar. He said, you are American Dollar. American. He said, what's your rate? He said, jump in, my friend. So he told his wife that, you know what, it's not right, a guest sits at the back with the children, you jump in the back. Because when America Dollar entered my life, I also told my wife and children, you know what, I'm very busy tonight, I'll come home 9 o'clock at night. If a bayan was taking place till 9 o'clock, I'll look at the time. Nazadul, we had one uncle, if someone was giving a bayan past the time, he would walk from the back. We would all be waiting, dua he must do it, because we wanted to go also out. So we would keep our eyes on him. Now the man is giving the bayan, suddenly you'll see him from the back stand. And in slow motion, now he starts walking. As he's walking, the man giving the bayan, you see his face changing, because wondering what's happening. As he comes close, he goes, sometimes he would come right to the man. Then the man says, Sadaqallah. But at 9 o'clock at night, I'm in my business. I will tell my wife, what you getting angry for? So Mr. Dollar came in my life, my whole family went back. If I drove further and I found Mr. Pound, I said, I think Mr. Pound is even greater than Mr. Dollar. So I even make place for him in my life. Every technology that came, I took out the time to learn it. When Quran came from the beginning of my life up till today, I never learned the meaning of Quran. But there is a time, I must make time. And Quran is such a unique individual, Islam, that it doesn't force itself in anyone's life. It invites. So you want me as your guest. But normally I tell Islam, you know what, my life can't accommodate you. So when he landed up at the next street, he found Mr. Islam. First thing when he saw Mr. Islam, he thought it's like a robber. Because Mr. Islam will change my hairstyle. So I don't want that. So immediately I closed the window slightly and told Mr. Islam that the masjid is around the corner. I'm looking for the masjid. He said, I'm looking for you. So the masjid is there. I'll come visit you there. I'll bring some food also. In Ramzan time I'll come to the masjid and I'll spend a little time extra. But Mr. Islam said, will you allow me to come to your house, meet with your wife and children? He said, no way. Why? Because my child wears shorts. You come and you look at my child. I'm not going to tell my child to change his shorts. I'm going to tell Mr. Islam, go back to the masjid. I can't change my life. I can't change my hair. I can't change my clothing. But Mr. Islam is such a unique that he says to the individual, remember, I don't force myself in anyone's life. But the day you want me, call and I'll come immediately. I'm not also some that says that when I ask to come, you never now get out. So I'll wait for you. And there are some times when an addict on drugs is on the verge of passing away. At that time he says, Daddy, bring one alim to me. At that time Islam is ready to go to the house. That time. So Islam will never say, remember when I asked for a lift? Because Islam doesn't need anyone. The whole world is Islam. But if my house can take Islam early, open my door. You will see when Islam enters the house, he doesn't shock anyone, he doesn't embarrass anyone. In such a jokey manner, he changes the whole life. I was also like you. I also could have become a doctor. I could have also become a lawyer. I also learned, have no beard, you'll be smart. We were taught without a beard, you'll get any girl in the world. You put on a beard, who will marry you? But if you ask in the world who got 4 wives, they'll say people with beards got 4 wives. Other people are still looking. You can't find one. We are smiling. Our lives never became depression. Rather, in front of us, when people come, everyone is depressed. We have to make them happy. With their wealth, they're depressed. With their business, they're depressed. With everything, they're depressed. When Islam enters, he never embarrassed anyone. He'll enter the house, Islam will look at the house, one, look at the other, look. He'll say, what a house you got, Mubarak. The man who's evil will look up. He'll say, what do you mean, Mubarak? Islam will say, this is the house of Islam. Islam will never tell you what a TV. Islam will never tell you. However, Islam, as it enters in the house, it will look and you will see what a wonderful television case you got. So Islam immediately will bring kitabs, books. He will put 1, 2 extra shelves and suddenly you got the Islamic library. Only you don't have one television there. You put his computer there. Suddenly you got a computer which linked you up to channel Islam, the world of Islam, and you got books of Islam. Suddenly your young children who are in shorts, now they're graduating in Darul Uloom Azhar. Now the turban is being put on their heads. Now Mr. Islam saying he's the ambassador for North America, he's the ambassador for South America. Suddenly you're shocked. My son who couldn't kick a ball straight, you made him an ambassador. Islam doesn't come to disgrace. Islam will look at you, look at your wife, will say, what a wonderful couple you are. He will say, the only problem is, your kurta, your trouser, is a little bit too long. So Islam will say, I am the best tailor in the world. I won't tell you take out your trouser. I will mend your trouser. I will make your trouser short. As for your wife, her skirt is too short, I need to make it longer. And Islam so amazing, you will say, I don't need extra material, I'll use your material on her. I'll cut a little bit from you, put it on her, she'll get longer skirt, you'll get a shorter trouser. Say, Islam will just put his hand over your head and suddenly you will have a unique zulfa. Islam never said have a ugly hairstyle. It said don't have the hairstyle of what Shaytan wanted. That man whose hair is in conformity to sunnah, when he's sleeping, the angel is recording that he could have cut any hairstyle, but in the love of Allah, he kept this one hairstyle. While he sleeps, the angel records in the obedience of Allah, in the obedience of Allah. He walks in the toilet in the obedience of Allah. He's in the shower in the obedience of Allah. While awake in the obedience, while sleeping in the obedience, he loves, the angel is writing, in the obedience of Allah. That same boy in that same haircut just made one extra cut. One cut. He himself never looked at the mirror. Who's going to look so many times at the mirror? One cut and the angel had to write in the disobedience of Allah. What was it that the hair could just change? Islam will say one woo, and suddenly gel came out and the hair became unique. Not even a zulfa, you became a lion of the time. Islam put his hand here, suddenly a beard started growing. What a wonderful beard. Islam combed it, made it. Islam made a room around you, suddenly a kurta and an imama came. Islam hit on your wardrobe and suddenly your entire clothing changed. There are certain friends of ours who wore designer clothing. And now he's only wearing kurta. He says, when I look at the jeans today, I see Jahannam in it. He said, if I put it on also, it doesn't sit. So tight, so uncomfortable. He said, when I was introduced to an Islamic cloth, I found my paradise already. Islam changed the whole family. 5 years later, you visit this house, you say, is there an alim in this house? So this is the markaz of Islam. Why? Because that man said, Islam, come into my life. Make Islam your friend and you will see in revolution. Don't be scared of it. Me and you are scared. We're scared because when a small child reached the airport, it was the first time in his life he saw those doors closing and opening. The airport, it closes. So he thought if I go towards it, it will close and it will crush me also. So he pulled away, he started screaming. He would grab his hand, he said, come. He said, I don't want to go. He would grab me, crush me. Hazrat Nabeel said, one man from the village, for the first time he reached the city, he saw an elevator. In his village he had never seen an elevator, he never knew technology. You will see it if you go for Umrah, Hajj. You will see some people who come from Africa, when that escalator is going down, you see the one auntie holding the other auntie. They think that thing is going to eat them in the end. This one is pulling, the other one is, they don't want to go on that thing, they think I'll fall. You just need one person to say, stand with me or look at me. I won't fall, you won't fall. That man who knows how to put a wheelchair on an escalator, he'll just put it and you really think the wheelchair is going to fall. But it just lifts up and stops at the last minute. But the one who doesn't, he sees it lifting, so he moves back. When he moves back, everyone falls. So they told him, you have to look at someone, then you will do it easily. So when he saw that elevator going up, down, opening, closing, he landed up at the wrong time. So he landed up there and it was opening and one fat auntie was standing there with a basket. So as it opened, she went in, she turned around, she looked at him, she smiled, and then it started closing. So he thought like some monster is now eating up this poor virgin auntie. Because she heard stories in the past, give a virgin to the river Nile. So he ran like the hero he was in the village and he started banging on the lift. Open, open. So the whole community is looking at him like he's this man off his head. He's just supposed to press the button and it will come, but he's banging, open, open. So the lift will open. It went up, it just happened, one fat auntie got out, one thin auntie got in. Young, pretty, small basket became a nice purse. Suddenly when he's banging, the lift is going to open. As it opens, his mouth opens. His eyes open. His mind starts rotating. She went in fat and ugly. She came in hands. So loudly he says, Ahmad! So Ahmad came and said, Daddy, what? He said, go bring mommy right now. This is what we need in life. Send your mommy in and get a new mommy. The world. What you needed someone to take the small child to the door and tell him, I will show you when I walk to the door, it will stay open for you. Because when my Allah promised you walk towards deen, the door will never close on you. But from far we will see it closed. You put your hand in someone's hand, that man will say, I'll walk you on this road, and you will see every door open. Islam will never disgrace, Islam will only honor. So the lioness chased the lion until the lion can't run anymore. And he's expecting her to leap and to tear him into pieces, because that's what we think Islam will do to me and you. So the lioness says, where are you running? So he doesn't know what to answer. He can't say you're going to eat me. He's quiet. Where are you running? The masjid said, where are you running? Why don't you come back? You've got no answer. I don't know why I'm running from the masjid. I don't know why when Maghrib Salat comes, I'd rather be in the toilet, but I don't want to be in the masjid. Islam said, what did I do to you? The whole world is looking for one sajda to lift the problems of the world. I gave you that sajda. You don't want to go in. He doesn't know why. What is he going to tell him? So the lioness says to the lion, said, handsome, how are you? Suddenly he started perspiring. In his life he never heard he was handsome. He was the ugly duckling. So he says, me handsome. The way he talks now, he plays. So she laughs. She says, oh, play. So you're a lion raw. Me a raw. But what's inside you can come out immediately. See, an Arab is born da'i. An Arab is born as a da'i of Islam. He can be the most person mustaghraq, drowned in the wealth of the world. A Jamaat lands up at an Arab and changes him in 3 days. When he gives a bayan after that, you will think the alim of the world is speaking. Because what's in you will never leave you. We grew up on fitrat of Islam. We just have to allow the raw to come out. Our talk is the talk of Ahmad and Muhammad. Inshallah and Subhanallah. We don't have swearing words. We've got unique words. When someone dies, we don't say, alas, oh my gosh, sorrow. We say, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. My palace is built in Jannah. Another person takes a gun and he's going to put it in his head. He says, I've seen so much problems in the world, I'd rather kill myself. We say, I have been created as the slave of Allah, in which condition He keeps me, I'm happy with that condition. Only we can say that. When the lion roared, he understood, I am a lion. And then the lioness finally took him to the waters and said, look at your reflection, are you a goat or are you a lion? Do you look like me or you look like them? He needed a few days with the lioness, that's all he needed. Tabligh was created for this, that a few days you need with somebody else. The Khanqa was created for this. A Darul Uloom was created for this. We had one boy from Dubai, most likely. When he landed in the madrasa like a cowboy, he came with that hat which the sides go so far. And he came with his Bahudas and his kippah. As he walked in, like everyone looked up. And 1 year later, that boy never come to become an alim, neither he became a hafiz. It's because he was a cowboy in that land. His father wanted him to learn how to read Quran. He never know how to read. His father was also like a cowboy. 2 cowboys landed up. But 1 year later, when I was in the masjid and I looked on my left, I saw one boy was in sajda. It was such a sight. Cowboy changed. The environment is the thing that will show you. The lioness could show the lion that you are a lion even greater than me. The only thing is you forgot who you are. When a da'i comes, he doesn't tell I'm better than the rest. It's all of y'all are better than me. The only thing you have to learn who you are. As soon as he saw his complexion in the mirror, the lioness said, I need you, you don't need me also. You're the king of the pack. He said, when you will walk in the world, sheep and goats will put their head in submission. The whole jungle will shiver when you will roar. Your izzat is in being you and in finding yourself. I came just to give this message that you are all lions. The only thing is look at yourself in the mirror and today say, has the lion been allowed to come out or I'm still hiding it? The day you understand you are lion, you will find your izzat from every side. You will find izzat in the sunnah method of eating, in the sunnah method of going to istinja, in the sunnah method of walking, in the sunnah method of dressing, in the sunnah method of talking. You are lion when you understood my izzat is in being in lion and dying. May Allah Tabaraka Ta'ala grant us one. For this we all need a jamaat. We need a group, we need a friend. This friend could be a jamaat going out in the path of Allah. And someone makes tashkeel, who wants to come out? This jamaat could be a friend who says, that you've got problems in life. Allah's Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Ar-rajulu ala dini khalili. A boy will be on the religion, the faith, the lifestyle of his friend. فَلْيَنْظُرْ أَحَدُكُمْ مَنْ يُخَالِلْ. He says, think properly who you're going to make your friend. Everyone needs a friend. Because the time comes in my life I become mature. When I become mature, I can't go to mommy and say, Mommy, you know what, last night I think I became mature. You won't say that. But now you start getting feelings, you don't know who to tell your feelings. You think in the school textbook they will teach you. They will say when you get a feeling for a girl, express it. Write a letter to her, you are unique. Nobody else is going to tell you what to do because you shy to say to someone, hey, I got a feeling. Sometimes you need a friend to say that we also got feelings. He says, I think of her in the shower. You say, I also think of her in the shower, but I won't tell my wife. We all get thoughts, we all get feelings. But a friend will tell you what that feelings, how to control yourself and how to come out as a lion. Shaytan will blow the worst thoughts in you. I got a crush for my teacher. So you will feel bad. How can I like my teacher? Can I go tell mommy? Shaytan can shoot an arrow sometimes so bad that one boy lands up in front of his mother and he says, Mommy, I'm in love with Fatima next door. So mommy will just blush and smile. Another boy might land up with a problem that he's not in love with Fatima, he's in love with Fatima's brother. You think he's going to come up and say, Mommy, I like Ahmed. Mother won't blush and she'll smack him in the face. Say, are you nuts? But that boy who got a liking for Ahmed, who he's going to tell? If he had a friend, his friend would say to him, thoughts are from the shootings of Shaytan. If Shaytan shoots an arrow on a calf also, you fall in love with the calf. Don't worry about it. Have the thoughts, the worst of thoughts in the world, as long as you control yourself and don't give expression to the thoughts. You can desire the woman of the world. You can burn, you can bleed, your heart can break. But every night you say, oh Allah, I want to send that message to her. But in your love, I am not pressing that button. Hazrat Shah Hakim Muhammad Akhtar Sahib was so unique in this, that to us youngsters he said, Akhtar reached where he reached on account of the romantic nature that Allah had given him, that he could fall in love so easily with anything. He said, and he burned that desire and he bled. He said, in bleeding and not giving expression to that desire, he reached where he reached. He said, desire is the fuel to make you the saint of Allah. If you can learn to control, but you need a friend to tell you how to control. To have a friend who you can say, I sent an email, I got a problem. That problem you can't tell your mother, your father, and you can't tell your school teacher. If you have a friend, he can tell you sometimes that just take this one turn and suddenly you took a shortcut for Allah. Otherwise, life you will try to sort out one problem, the problem won't get sorted out. There's a need for a jamaat to make you the lion. There's a need for a friend to make you the lion. In circles, sometimes this friend is called a sheikh. Sometimes he's called a murabbi. We just call him a friend. That you say to a person, I want to make you my friend. When I have a problem, I know I can send an email to someone to say, help me out. And sometimes they help out when a man is on a cliff and he's hanging for dear life. The person who helps him only gives one hand and suddenly you're standing normally. But if you don't have a friend to give you that, you're not going to last on the cliff very long. The time will come where you are going to slip. And then you'll never come up. Everyone needs a friend who can say, here's my hand. A great wali of the time, he says, alone you cannot walk on this road of Allah's love. He said, I am walking, why don't you join me? Let's walk. When we were young, we thought to become a saint of Allah means I must be old. And I must have a tasbih in my hands. And they must call me Haji Sahab, Dada. And in the company of Hazrat Shah Hakim Muhammad Akhtar Sahab, we learned that to be a saint, it just means that the desires which I got, which my Allah said no, I look at my Allah and I say, oh Allah, if you said no, I'll say no. Even if I die with that desire. Suddenly the young boy in school who was Romeo yesterday is the Ghazali of the 10th. The saint. Because he controlled his eye. She walked in front, he went blind. She turned around, she said, what's happening to you today? Normally you whistle when I go past. Today you look down. I say, today I found another friend. She think you got another girlfriend. I say, who? I say, your creator. My one friend, he sent her a message, she sent the message back. He said, let's meet. He said, I want to see you first. So she sent a picture. So he wrote to her, looks can be deceiving. I'm sure it's you. He said, it is me. So he told me she's smart. I said, don't waste your life. He said, but she's smart. I said, looks can be deceiving. The day you see her, she might not look how she looks. So for a few days he stayed away. Then he landed in front. He realized looks can be deceiving. Who she wasn't on that. So he had coffee or tea with her, whatever, nothing else happened because he never liked her. So he came back to me, I said, you spoiled the whole thing. Now if you give her up, you won't get Allah. Giving up because you want number 2, isn't it? But after a while, this boy changed. He changed. So a while later, that very girl, she sent a message to him, let's meet up for a cup of coffee. So he wrote a letter to her. So when I read that letter, I was like also in ecstasy. He wrote a letter to her that there was a time I never liked your looks. That's why I never want to meet with you. He said, now the only reason why I'm not coming to meet you is not that I don't like how you look. He said, I've met a friend who doesn't allow me to come and meet you. I told him, you have become Allah's wali. He said, all in university. He said, I met a friend. He said, no. You got that friend, I got. Only because we thought we young, we couldn't become his friend. Okay? Find a friend to make you his friend. Find a jama'ah to connect you with Allah. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala make all of you all the lovers of Allah, the lions of Islam. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala find for all of us a unique friend who can make us walk a path of the love. Pull us out of haram, put us in halal. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala bless us all with iman. Or the man in the taxi, Molana said, in the next round, he never gave Islam a lift. Then he met the angel of death. But now we don't want to make you guys die. We're letting Islam come in our car. Islam will come. The end of the story was taxi driver now. He told Islam that, you know what, my car is packed. Dollar is here, pound is here, everybody is here. So Islam said, no problem, but the day you need me, I'm always ready. The story goes like this: when he reached on the next place, there was another man who never looked good. So that man never needed him to stop and ask. That man stopped him like a police officer. He said, me, I enter even if I'm not invited. I open doors even if doors are locked. I enter into bedrooms even if everything is closed. I am the angel of death. When I come, no one stops me. But they say when the angel of death came, dollar and pound, they're not going to stand up in your head, isn't it? The most they'll say, hey, you know what, we'll pay for your burial. As for the wife and the child, from the back, they would scream out loudly that, you know what, take him faster. Because in the love of dollar and pound, he pushed us in the boot. There are many children in the world who wait for their father to die. Because he said, as long as he's alive, he's not allowing us that money, and he has never been a father to us. He's just making an empire. They wait for his death. We reached one town. They said, we make dua, our boss goes for Umrah in Ramazan. He said, because in Ramazan when he's not smoking, he's like a monster. He said, we make dua, he goes, and wahi, that man goes Ramazan. He said, what a dua you made for him, you send him away. So one great wali of the time passed by a king. And the king was fast asleep. He said, that man whose sleep is better for the world than his being awakened. His being dead is better than his being alive. Meaning when you awake, you are making zulm on everyone. Your father, you wait for him, Daddy, go sleep you. As long as you're awake, you're swearing, Mommy, you're fighting with us, just go sleep. And when he's alive, you say, Daddy, just die. But what made that the dollar and the pound? From the back they said, take him, because in the love of dollar and pound, he pushed us in the boots. Had Islam entered, he would have made you a family man. Your children would have loved you, your wife would have loved you, the world would have loved you. May Allah Tabarak Ta'ala bring Islam.